Hold on. All right, sorry, we had low network connection, but we're okay now, so yay. Hey, you guys, happy Hot Mess Monday. I'm gonna talk really kind of fast this time, and I promise okay, I don't want to promise. I'm gonna try not to cry. Last week was very emotional. Sorry to anybody that I scared with my tears. But it was a lot. There was a lot to process. And this week is kind of emotional, but in a very happy way. So I'm wearing my son's lei from his 8th grade promotion. I don't know how it is everywhere else in the rest of the country, but in Southern California and probably in Hawaii too, I'm assuming, we give our graduates and our people moving on to the next grade or the next level, we give them little leis. And sometimes the leis, it's a few days old, so it's a little weary, but it was really nice and thick and beautiful, and just he looked adorable. Go to my he's over there because he's not at school right now because it's vacation now, and he just made pancakes. Thank you. Anyway, he leis that some of the kids get leis that have money, that are just completely made of money. Some of them that completely made of candy. It's just a lot of fun. But anyway, we always get them flowers, or get our kids flowers. And by we, I mean me and my mom. My mom's like, she's the official other parent in our life right now. All right, so since it is graduation season, and oh my gosh, big giant happy birthday to my oldest kid, 30 years old, little Jazzy Boo. She made her 30th birthday celebration out in the canyons of Utah. It's a perfect way for her to celebrate, and I'm super stoked. But yeah, my oldest kid is 30. My youngest kid just is going into high school, and my youngest daughter is going into her senior year of high school. So this is a big momentous year, which is why I started kind of asking like some questions on Facebook the other day, which was people over 40, and some of you guys answered. What is something that you thought was absolutely true, and then you found out later was false? And the reason I said people over 40 is answered by the first person. Let's see, Alina. She said that I would be an adult by the time I was in my 30s. No joke, you guys. And I know you guys in your 30s, you're gonna be like, ow, that's bullshit. And you know what? No, trust me. There's still so much. I mean, you really, really think you've got to have it together then, you know? And then maybe you don't. And so you're sitting there scrambling around in your 30s going, I thought we were supposed to have our shit together by now, but I don't. So there was a show like back in the 90s, and it was called 30 something, and I was in my 20 somethings, or maybe I was in high school. It was like in the late 80s. And I remember thinking, how can people in their 30s be so screwed up? And then I hit my 30s. So the problem with that is you think you're supposed to have your shit together, you don't, and then you end up like really having some issues. And when people always say midlife crisis, not really. What's ending up happening is like towards the end of the 30s, right when you get to your 40s, you're like, who have I been doing all this for? Who have I been pretending for all this time? I want to do my own thing. Which brings me to Brad. He was the first one to answer. He said that if anyone knew the real me, the me I hid under layers of masks at work, with friends, and with family, they wouldn't like or even love me as much as I have recently realized the exact opposite to be true. That's what happens in your early 40s. If it happens sooner than that, good on you. You are like super conscious. But that doesn't happen till later. And a lot of us in our 40s are like, we wasted a lot of fucking time just trying to make everybody happy. Hey, Daisy. Daisy's one of my favorite people. We haven't talked together. She used to help me out, you guys. She is in Florida. And I used to work around the clock on this one job, and I had to find people in different time zones. And Daisy was my early morning person who would come on, 3-4 hours ahead of me because I'm on the West Coast. And then I just saw Carol say, Utah is beautiful. I kind of like it. Carol obviously lives in Utah. That's one of my favorite states, Carol. One of my places that I always thought, every time I go there, I always think I'm going to move there, is Park City. Of course, it's like super expensive. But just past that, Heber, right? Heber's pretty awesome. So anyway, just going to say quick hello. Peter! Hello, Peter! I'm going to quote you in this one, so you better stick around, brother. All right. Kids are getting sunblocked. All right. Well, watch it later. Peter is in Orlando right now having a great time with his kids. Peter's Anissa's husband. Some of you guys know who that is. He's one of our favorite people. All right. I'm going to run through some of these really, really quickly. And if you want to look at it later, I'm going to have to put my readers on, you guys, because I is over 40. All right. What they taught us in school was true. Xenia. This means that it's a truth that you thought was true, but is now no longer true. Yeah, Hebrew's awesome, right? Okay. All right. So what they taught us in school was true. I think I can do it without this. I actually I made the letters bigger. What's the word? Zoom. I zoomed in on my document so I can see. All right. Another thing that somebody thought was true that is not true. This is a good one. Pam, you have to know what you're doing before doing it. Fuck that, just leap. Amen, Pam. There's this stupid saying, because I keep thinking about it, there's no way. It's just like build the airplane while you're flying it, which basically means just jump, just go, just figure that shit out as you go. If you plan too much, there are so many people that have perfection paralyzation, and they want to perfect it until they just jump and go. And we still struggle with that all the time because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. But then you remember, you don't give a shit what other people think. So you just go. All right, now, Georgia. I love this one. Some of you guys know her as Bossy. I love Georgia. That people who graduate with a specialty know what they're doing. No, they don't. They're faking it alongside the rest of us. Breadth of experience is how to know what you're doing. Another great amen there. It's true. Think about it. Lawyers and doctors, what are they doing in their fields? They're practicing. Which brings me to the next one. Believing doctors are always correct. You guys, go with your gut. If you really, really think that your doctor is full of shit and he's just like trying to give you some fix-it, some cure-all, something, some slash and burn technology, go get a second opinion. Get a third opinion. Go to homeopath. Go to other people. Eventually, you are going to have to make a decision, though. So, eventually, everything's going to kind of line up where something has a familiar ring to it. Go with that. But if it's major second, third opinions, please, always, 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 never ever just trust the one guy. Or girl, my God, I said that. Never just trust the one doctor. My God. All right, conflict is bad. This is another truth that they thought to be true, but it's not anymore to them. Conflict is bad. It's not, it's the best thing. Confronting problems allows you to put the past behind you. Don't fear conflict, embrace it, and speak up. That's Erica. So true. Everybody just wants to not fight. Everybody wants to get along. That's how you end up in places where you don't want to be. That's how you end up in relationships that you don't want to have. That's how you end up in jobs that you hate, in neighborhoods that you can't stand your neighbors, with cars you don't even like. I mean, don't worry about conflict. Worry about living a life that you hate. All right, next one. Oh, this is my friend Alice, my new friend Alice, who lives in Carlsbad, just next door. We met at Mom 2.0 up in Pasadena. Still haven't gone out with her again. Alice, we have to fix that. That friends are friends forever. I've now realized that there are friends for a reason, friends for a season, and friends for a lifetime. Every friendship is different, and that's okay. That's another good one to tell everybody as they're moving on to different stages of their life in school. I think it's really hard. Like Ryan is going to be leaving. He's left his middle school. He's moving on to a completely different high school in a different district. Even though that charter school technically handles the entire district, it's going to be really far from his friends that he's gone to school with. But he's going to make a whole new pile of friends, and a whole new culture is going to be, like a community culture is going to be open to him to explore. And there are going to be more people and more clubs and more fun. And that can be with anything, that you never stop making friends. I went on that camping trip a couple weeks ago. I made a bunch of new friends, and I've got their phone numbers, and we need to go on our hiking trips now that we've already talked about. All right, and this one is one of my favorites. This is from Christine from Petite Madeleine here in Oceanside. If you ever come visit me, I'm taking you there because this is one of the best bakeries in all of San Diego. I am not kidding. Christine left her high-profile professional job and went back to baking school. That's a risk, especially when you're an adult and you've already got an established career. She said that success is more important than peace and harmony. So she found out the opposite to be true, that peace and harmony and success are very different things. And I think maybe I'm going to put words in her mouth, success may have been what everybody else considered successful. And she went and followed a dream that made her happy, and now she's successful. So there you go. All right, here's Peter's. Peter, I hope you're still there. That there are tons of people who paid attention in kindergarten, meaning this is something that he thought was true but now is false. And then I asked him to explain. He said, have you ever met a person who can follow directions or play nicely or share with others? Or met people that can't do that? And then also, Peter, it'll fall off if you keep playing with it. I'm just going to leave that there. Okay. Next one, that if you present well-reasoned arguments to people, they will carefully consider them and potentially change ill-informed views and preconceived notions. Well, the last couple of years have taught us all very differently, hasn't it? That's from Shaka. Shaka, thank you so much for that big, giant pearl of wisdom. And also, stop trying to argue your friends and your family into logic and reason because they think they're trying to do that to you. Apparently, we're all illogical and we're all crazy. We're all gonna die. Okay. Everyone you love can be trusted to keep their promises. This one's a sad one. Everyone you love can't always be trusted to keep their promises. You know why? Because we're human. Sometimes you have to let that go. Sometimes you have to use that as the big red flag you needed. The big, you know what? I need to not have this person in my life. But again, we're all human and people make mistakes. And people break promises, not because they don't love you, but because they're fallible. Putting people on pedestals is a hard thing and we do it all the time. So, fair warning, don't. All right. That your level of education is somehow equated with your level of intelligence. Wrong. I know plenty of people who have spent plenty of years in school who are complete idiots. You know them too. You might be related to them. You might be married to one. All right. Another one that I love kind of goes back to the jumping out of the plane. I have to get things perfect before I can move forward. No, I mean, if we've learned anything, all right, hair check, sorry. If we've learned anything about anything from building apps and everything online, doesn't have to be perfect. Just go. Do version 1.2.3.555 later. You don't have to have it perfect. Just get it going. And this is from Alan, one of my favorite gurus. I call him Alan, just so you know. In my mind, you're like my Baba Ram Dass. He's like super wise guy, and I'm so thankful I had the opportunity to meet him when he was out here in San Diego, when he lived out here for a little tiny bit. Another thing that Alan says, and this one's going to be a tough one, because some of us still think this, you can be anything you want. It turns out that we are not truly independent entities, even when we think we are. Our goals are limited to societal constraints and the participation of others. That doesn't mean we can't break through barriers of societal norms, just that there really are some limitations on goal achievements outside of our control. So if you always wanted to be an astronaut, you didn't grow up to be an astronaut, that's okay. A whole lot of other people that wanted to be astronauts are also not astronauts. All right, this one comes from FICA, that if you work hard enough at it, you can earn someone's respect. Yeah, that's another one that sucks. It's true, it's not true. You can try your hardest, and somebody that you've just been trying to gain that respect from, maybe a coworker, maybe a boss, maybe a family member, you're not gonna get it from them. That's not on you, that's on them. That's some filter in their mind. That's something that they've got some preconceived notion about who you are, who you've been, what you're capable of. You can't change them. You know what you can do? You can do the work that you respect of yourself. You can do everything, like the emotional work, the physical work, the work, the heart work. You can do all of that to earn your own respect for yourself. All right. That if anyone knew the real me, we already went through this one, but I think this one's worth repeating, that if anyone knew the real me, the me I hid under layers of masks at work, they wouldn't like or even love me as much. I have recently realized the exact opposite is true. Again, worth repeating. And one of my favorite ones, I used to believe that happiness and sadness were a spectrum of extremes. You're either happy or you're sad, right? I now believe that sadness is part of the recipe of happiness. How do you know what happiness is if you haven't been sad? How do you know what the highs are if you haven't been low, right? There are going to be a lot of highs and lows for all of you guys graduating from whatever and still in your 30s, and all of us like coming up on our 50s. I know there's still going to be some highs and lows, but God, the other day I was walking around, and I might cry now, you guys. I was just walking around and looking around, and I thought, an entire chapter of my life is over. In that chapter, I had everything I ever wanted. At one time or another, I had everything I ever wanted. I got to do everything I ever wanted to do. And now I get to start a new chapter and a new list. That's exciting. But I really had to take a look at what had happened in my life. And as tragic as some shit was, other stuff was just fucking amazing. Life is so cool, you guys. And this comes down to the last one. A lot of people had this to say: life is short. And that should is important. It's not important. You don't need to do what you think you should do to make other people happy, because again, life is short. Do what you want to do. Do what you know you are supposed to be doing. A lot of this stuff is going to fall into place for you. You may not have the things that your mom and dad hoped for you to have, but you may have the things that make your heart sing and make you happy. And that's really all that matters, right? So anyway, that was my Wisdom of the Ages and my Hot Mess Monday. And mahalo, aloha, yada yada. See you guys next week. Bye.